What's up guys, it's Kara Corey here from Kara Corey Fit Life, and today I've got for you one of my fall favorites. Today we're going to make a guilt-free pumpkin cake. So for this recipe, you are going to need several ingredients. So I've went ahead and pre-mixed my wet and my dry ingredients, but I'll take you through everything I've used. The first thing that you will need to do is preheat your oven for 350 degrees. And if you're making a cake like myself, you'll want a 9x13 cake pan, or if you want, you could make cupcakes with this as well. That'll work out just as fine too. But I went ahead and sprayed this, and I'm going to set it aside. And for our ingredients, I pretty much had everything on hand. They're pretty staple ingredients for me, but you will need kind of a good amount of ingredients. You're going to need 2 full cans of pure pumpkin. I like to mention, make sure you get the pure pumpkin and not the pumpkin pie filling. But 2 full cans of that. For wet ingredients, we also, I used 1 whole cup of plain Greek yogurt. It's 227 grams. Couple teaspoons of pure vanilla extract. Always got to have that on hand for baking. 6 egg whites, and I use the liquid egg whites, but you could always just crack open 6 eggs. And that's everything mixed up in one bowl for our wet ingredients. So you really do want to mix your wet separate from your dry and stir them up thoroughly. It will impact the flavor and the consistency sometimes if you don't. Now for our dry ingredients here, we're obviously going to use my favorite, which is almost gone because I've been using this religiously, the pumpkin pie MTS Whey. 2 full scoops of that measured out. I use Splenda, but whatever kind of sweetener you use, I did use 2 full cups of sweetener. Sprinkle of salt in there to help bring out those flavors. I used about 4 teaspoons of pumpkin pie spice. If you don't have pumpkin pie spice on hand, you could just add in some cinnamon or nutmeg, if you have either of those on hand, just to help bring out those pumpkin flavors. I used 4 teaspoons of baking powder, 4 teaspoons of baking powder, 2 teaspoons of baking soda. Looking at my list to make sure I got that right, okay? This is not crucial, but I wanted to add this in. 1 tablespoon I used of this sugar-free Jell-O butterscotch mix. If you have it on hand, great. If not, probably not going to be a deal breaker if you don't have it. And then for flour, I used a combination here. I used 2 full cups of oat flour. If you don't have oat flour on hand, you could use whole wheat flour. You could use really any kind of flour you have. I wouldn't suggest using all coconut flour though. You could also take oats. If you have whole oats, you can grind them up, make oat flour yourself. So 2 full cups of that, and then I used 1/4 cup of coconut flour. So that is all our dry ingredients that I have all mixed up right here. And I'm just gonna go ahead. This makes a very thick, dense cake, which I like because it's very satisfying. It's very guilt-free as well. So when you cook with pumpkin, you'll notice it does stay extremely moist, which is why I like cooking with pumpkin, because it acts as a fat. You can substitute pumpkin in almost any baked goods instead of your fat source. So if you notice, we didn't add any oil to this, any butter, anything like that, which keeps the cake very low fat. So I think in terms of macros, it ends up being like 3 grams of fat. So you're going to want to go ahead and stir these both together, and then we'll get it in our pan. All right, so once you've got it all mixed up, it's kind of gets that very thick, heavy, fluffy cake batter consistency to it. It doesn't take too much mixing to get everything mixed in there together. And I'm just going to use a spatula as well to make sure I get everything out here. And we're just gonna kind of push that down evenly in our pan. And once your oven is preheated to 350, you're gonna wanna go ahead and put this in there for about 40 to 50 minutes. I would suggest checking it at about the 40-minute mark. Like I said, using 2 full cans of pumpkin is gonna make this stay somewhat moist. I would recommend keeping this refrigerated overnight until eating it. It'll help it kind of thicken up a little bit more. But 40 minutes should do it. So we're gonna get this in the oven. We'll see you when it's all done. All right, guys, the pumpkin cake was in the oven I left it in for the full 40 minutes. You can insert a toothpick in the middle to see if it comes out clean, to know that your cake is done. Like I said, the cake does still kind of stay a soft type consistency, but it should be done after 40 minutes. I've left it out to cool a little bit, but what I'll probably do is throw this in the fridge overnight to cool. This full cake will make 12 servings or 12 slices, so the Nutritionals I'll post below will be for 1 piece of the cake. It smells heavenly, you guys. Smells heavenly. I'm gonna keep mine plain and eat this throughout the week as a dessert, but an easy frosting for your cake would be to take some fat-free cream cheese and mix it with some MTS Cinnagram, and that would be a delicious combination to frost your cake with. So I hope you guys give this a try. You're gonna love it. I know it looks like a lot of ingredients, but it's very simple to produce. And if you make it for others, I guarantee they will not know that this baby's guilt-free. So give this a try. Don't forget to tag me on Instagram. As always, I love to see it when you guys make my creations, and keep checking back for more.